Ever felt like someone's lurking in the shadows, silently observing your every move? They're closer than you think, quietly mimicking your style, your vibe, your very essence. You're the kind of person who naturally stands out, but with that comes a silent audience, those who watch your every move, trying to emulate you without giving you credit. They adopt your look, your energy, and your way of life, hoping to capture a bit of your magic for themselves. Spotting these subtle signs is crucial to maintaining your originality and protecting your energy. By recognizing when someone is quietly stealing your style, you can ensure that you stay true to yourself and your unique path. The first sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is the unseen eye. You catch them looking your way, but they quickly avert their gaze. These are the ones who watch from the corners, pretending not to notice you, yet they never miss a single detail. It's almost as if they're taking mental notes, trying to absorb every aspect of your presence without you realizing it. They might act indifferent or aloof, but their eyes betray their true intentions. These unseen eyes are the silent spectators of your life, always present but never acknowledged. They might be the colleague who never directly engages with you, yet somehow knows every detail about your projects, or the acquaintance who never comments on your posts, but likes everything you do. They're the ones who linger in the background, absorbing your energy, your ideas, and your style, without ever giving you the credit you deserve. It's this subtle yet persistent observation that forms the foundation of their mimicry. In social settings, they might hover just outside your line of sight, always in the periphery but never fully engaging. It's a game of shadows where they maintain the illusion of distance while keeping a close watch. By the time you notice, they've already internalized enough to start mimicking you in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. The trick to spotting this sign is to trust your instincts. If you feel watched, you probably are. What's even more unsettling is the realization that these unseen eyes are not just observing, they're analyzing. They're trying to figure out what makes you tick, what gives you that unique edge, so they can replicate it for themselves. They're studying your interactions, your responses, your mannerisms, all in a bid to craft a version of themselves that mirrors the success they see in you. It's a silent form of competition, where they're playing a game you didn't even know you were part of. The key is to stay aware, to keep evolving, and to remember that no matter how closely someone watches, they can never truly capture the essence of who you are. The second sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is the sudden style shifts. One day, you notice they've started dressing like you, right down to the smallest accessory. Their style was once different, but now it's an eerie reflection of your own. At first it might seem like a coincidence, a similar jacket here, a comparable hairstyle there, but over time the similarities become too glaring to ignore. This kind of mimicry often starts subtly with just a few changes here and there. Maybe they start wearing the same colors you favor, or switch to a brand you've been championing. As time goes on, their transformation becomes more apparent. The unique flair that once defined their look begins to fade, replaced by an almost carbon copy of your personal style. It's as if they're shedding their old identity to adopt yours. What's particularly unnerving about this sign is how it feels like they're slowly erasing the boundary between you and them. Each piece of clothing they copy, each accessory they replicate, is like a small invasion into your personal space. It's not just about fashion, it's about identity. By adopting your style, they're trying to capture some of the essence that makes you, you. This can be particularly challenging to confront, as it's not just about someone dressing like you, it's about someone trying to become you. Their shift in style might even extend beyond clothes and accessories. You might notice changes in their posture, the way they walk, or even the way they carry themselves in social situations. It's as if they're trying to embody not just your look, but the confidence and energy that comes with it. They're not just copying what you wear. They're trying to step into your skin, to feel what it's like to be you. This can create a strange sense of displacement, where you start to feel like you're looking into a distorted mirror, a reflection of yourself that's just off enough to be unsettling. And it doesn't stop there. They might begin to frequent the same places you shop, start following the same influences you admire, and even adopt the same grooming habits you've perfected. It's a full-scale assimilation of your style, one that leaves you questioning their authenticity. The line between admiration and imitation blurs, and you're left wondering whether their sudden shift in style is a form of flattery or a calculated attempt to siphon off your uniqueness. The challenge here is to remain confident in your own identity, knowing that while they can copy the exterior, they can never replicate the inner qualities that make your style truly yours. The third sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is the echoes of your words, your unique phrases, the way you talk, even the way you caption your photos. Suddenly, it's all being echoed by them, as if your voice has become their own. You might hear your own words being parroted back to you in conversations, or see your catchphrases popping up in their social media posts. It's as if they're trying to rewrite their narrative using your voice. This sign is particularly telling because our words are deeply personal. The way you express yourself, the words you choose, and even the tone you use are all reflections of your inner self. When someone starts echoing your words, it's more than just flattery. It's an attempt to assimilate your identity into their own. They're not just borrowing your phrases, they're trying to embody the way you think and communicate. Over time, you might notice that the things you say start to lose their unique edge as they become diluted by repetition. It's frustrating and disorienting to hear your own voice coming out of someone else's mouth, especially when they don't give you any credit. This kind of mimicry can make you feel like your originality is being stripped away, piece by piece. To counter this, it's important to keep evolving your language and expression, staying one step ahead of those who seek to imitate you. This echoing extends beyond just words. It can seep into your ideas, your opinions, and even your creative work. They might start taking credit for concepts you've developed or presenting your ideas as their own. It's a form of intellectual theft that can be deeply frustrating, especially when they gain recognition for something that was originally your creation. The key to overcoming this is to keep innovating, to keep pushing the boundaries of your own expression so that no matter how much they copy, they'll always be one step behind. The fourth sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is their mysterious disappearance. After a period of intense interaction, they suddenly go quiet, disappearing from your life. But you know better. They're just off somewhere trying to become you. This is the kind of person who will be very close to you, soaking up all the details of your life, and then vanish without a trace. But their silence is not due to a lack of interest. Rather, it's the quiet before the storm of their reinvention. When they resurface, they often have a new persona that seems all too familiar. It's as if they've taken a piece of you with them and crafted it into their new identity. During their absence, they've been busy integrating everything they've observed and learned from you into their own life. The result is a disconcerting reflection of yourself, dressed up as someone else. This sign is particularly insidious because it's easy to dismiss their disappearance as them simply moving on or losing interest. But when they return, you realize that they were never really gone. They were just busy reconstructing themselves in your image. It's unsettling to see someone you once knew come back as a shadow of yourself, and it serves as a reminder to protect the unique aspects of your identity from those who might seek to appropriate them. This new persona might even come with an air of superiority, as if they've now mastered what you once showed them. They might start acting as if they're the originator of the very traits they copied from you, which can be both frustrating and disheartening. It's a strange experience to see someone you once considered a friend or acquaintance transform into a distorted version of yourself. The key here is to recognize that their imitation is a reflection of their own insecurities, not a commentary on your worth. Stay grounded in your own identity and remember that while they can copy the surface, they can never replicate the depth of who you are. The fifth sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is their copycat habits. Your routines, your habits, the way you handle your day-to-day life, these too begin to show up in their lives. It's as if they're trying to live your life instead of their own. They start frequenting the same places you go, adopting the same daily rituals, and even mimicking the way you interact with others. Habits are deeply ingrained parts of our lives, and when someone starts copying them, it's a clear sign they're trying to step into your shoes. It's not just about admiration, it's about adopting your lifestyle wholesale. They might start going to the same gym, picking up the same hobbies, or even structuring their day in a way that mirrors yours. This kind of behavior can be incredibly intrusive because it feels like they're infringing on your personal space. Your habits are what make your life uniquely yours, and when someone starts replicating them, it can feel like they're trying to rewrite your story as their own. It's essential to stay mindful of who you share your routines with, and to be cautious of those who seem more interested in copying your life than in living their own. You might notice them showing up at your favorite spots, joining the same clubs, or even adopting your unique quirks and mannerisms. It's as if they're trying to inhabit your life, to experience the world through your eyes. This can be incredibly disconcerting, especially when it starts to feel like they're more interested in living your life than their own. The key to handling this situation is to reinforce your boundaries and ensure that you keep certain aspects of your life private. By doing so, you can maintain control over your own narrative and protect the uniqueness of your habits from being co-opted by someone else. The sixth sign they're quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is that they imitate your connections. They suddenly want to be friends with your friends, or they're reaching out to your contacts and trying to get close to the people in your circle. This is one of the more subtle yet invasive signs that someone is trying to insert themselves into your life by proxy. By aligning themselves with the same people you're close to, they're not just copying your style, they're copying your social life. It starts with small things, like them showing up at gatherings where they know your friends will be, or suddenly becoming interested in the same social causes or events. Over time, they begin to ingratiate themselves with your circle, often trying to forge bonds with people who are important to you. This can create an uncomfortable overlap, where your personal and social lives start to feel intertwined with theirs in ways that blur the lines of individuality. Over time, this behavior can lead to a sense of displacement, where you start to feel like your social circle is no longer entirely yours. The person copying your connections might even start to undermine your relationships, subtly sowing discord or trying to position themselves as more important or influential than you. This can be incredibly frustrating, as it feels like they're not just copying your style, but trying to usurp your role within your own social network. The key here is to stay vigilant and to reinforce your boundaries, ensuring that your relationships remain authentic and grounded in mutual respect. The seventh sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is their inconsistent behavior. They were once distinct in their own right, but now they switch between their old self and this new version that looks too much like you. It's as if they're trying on your identity like a new outfit. One day they're the person you remember, and the next, they're a mirror image of yourself, trying to balance who they were with who they're trying to become. This inconsistency is often a sign that they're struggling to fully integrate the aspects of your style that they've adopted. They haven't yet figured out how to merge their old identity with the new one they've pieced together from watching you. As a result, their behavior can fluctuate wildly. Sometimes they seem confident and composed, fully embodying this new persona, and other times they seem uncertain, slipping back into their old habits. This back and forth can be disorienting, not just for them, but for you as well. It's a clear indication that they're not being true to themselves, and their attempts to imitate you are only causing internal conflict. It's important to recognize this for what it is, a sign that they're not secure in their own identity and are using you as a template to fill that void. By maintaining your own consistency, you can avoid getting caught up in their identity crisis and stay true to who you are. As they continue to grapple with their identity crisis, they might start to exhibit signs of jealousy or resentment towards you. They might become frustrated with their inability to fully embody your style, leading them to lash out or distance themselves from you. This can create tension and strain in your relationship as they struggle to reconcile their desire to imitate you with their own feelings of inadequacy. The best way to handle this is to remain compassionate but firm, encouraging them to find their own path while maintaining your own boundaries. The eighth sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is the silent competition. They're not just watching, they're competing. Without ever saying it, they're trying to outdo you in every area, from work to social life, always one step behind but never quite catching up. This silent competition is driven by a deep-seated desire to prove that they can not only match your style but surpass it. This sign is particularly toxic because it turns what should be a supportive environment into a battlefield. They may start showing off in subtle ways, trying to outshine you in front of others, or take credit for ideas that closely mirror yours. They might begin to emulate your successes, but with an added edge of rivalry, as if they're trying to prove something to you and to themselves. What makes this form of competition so damaging is that it's often hidden behind a veneer of friendliness or camaraderie. On the surface, they might seem supportive, but underneath, there's a constant undercurrent of one-upmanship. Recognizing this sign is key to protecting your peace of mind. You don't need to engage in their silent competition. Instead, focus on your own growth and let them tire themselves out trying to keep up. What's particularly challenging about this silent competition is how it can erode trust and create tension in your relationships. When someone is constantly trying to outdo you, it can make you question their motives and their sincerity. You might start to feel like you're being measured against an invisible yardstick, where every success you achieve is seen as a challenge to them. This can create a toxic dynamic, where you're constantly on guard, wondering if their actions are motivated by genuine support or by a desire to outshine you. This competitive streak might manifest in various aspects of your life. At work, they might start taking on similar projects, trying to replicate your success while subtly undermining your efforts. In social settings, they might try to outdo you in conversations, seeking to impress others with knowledge or insights that closely mirror your own. This behavior can be exhausting, as it feels like you're constantly being challenged by someone who refuses to acknowledge your achievements. Another aspect of this silent competition is the way it can affect your sense of self-worth. When someone is constantly trying to outdo you, it can make you question your own abilities and accomplishments. You might start to feel like you're not doing enough, even when you're excelling in your own right. This is where it's crucial to stay grounded in your own value, and to remember that their competition is a reflection of their insecurities, not a judgment on your worth. By focusing on your own growth and success, you can rise above their attempts to compete and maintain your peace of mind. The ninth sign they are quietly watching you and stealing your whole style is the unasked questions. They never ask how you do what you do, but you notice them implementing the very things you've mastered. They're too prideful to ask for advice, yet desperate enough to steal it. This is the person who observes from afar, absorbing your methods and strategies without ever giving you the satisfaction of acknowledging your influence. This sign is particularly frustrating because it's a form of intellectual theft. They might adopt your work processes, your creative techniques, or even your problem-solving strategies, all while pretending they came up with it on their own. It's a silent form of flattery that can leave you feeling both violated and unacknowledged. What's telling about this behavior is the pride that prevents them from simply asking for your guidance. Instead of seeking advice or mentorship, they choose to observe and replicate in secret. This can lead to a sense of isolation as you realize that someone is benefiting from your hard work without ever giving you credit. The key to dealing with this is to keep innovating. Stay ahead of the curve, and remember that while they might copy your methods, they can never replicate your unique creative spark. Over time, this behavior can create a sense of distrust, where you start to guard your ideas and methods more closely, fearing that they'll be stolen or copied without your consent. This can lead to a feeling of isolation, where you're reluctant to share your work with others, even when collaboration could be beneficial. The key to overcoming this is to stay true to your own creative process and to keep pushing the boundaries of your work. By doing so, you can ensure that your contributions remain uniquely yours, no matter how much someone tries to copy them. Another aspect of this behavior is the way it can affect your relationships with others. When someone is constantly copying your methods without acknowledging your influence, it can create tension and strain in your interactions. You might start to feel like you're being used or taken advantage of, which can lead to a sense of bitterness and resentment. The best way to handle this is to maintain your integrity and to continue to innovate, knowing that while they might copy your methods, they can never replicate the depth and originality of your work. Recognizing these signs allows you to stay one step ahead, preserving your authenticity and ensuring that your light remains your own. It's a reminder that while others may try to steal your style, they can never truly replicate your essence. Stay vigilant, protect your energy, and most importantly, continue to shine in your own unique way. Let them watch, but don't let them take what's yours. Remember, imitation may be the sincerest form of flattery, but no one can ever be a better you than you. Keep moving forward, knowing that your originality is your greatest asset.